Hey, what's up guys? This is Bevan here, and in this video we're going to talk about road tripping through one of our favorite provinces in South Africa, KwaZulu Natal. Now, it's often been said that everything Africa has to offer can be found in KwaZulu Natal, from wildlife and game reserves to deserted beaches to beautiful mountain ranges. It truly is a fantastic province to explore, and one of the best ways to check out KZN is on a road trip. So in this video we're going to talk about a first-timer's guide to the perfect KwaZulu Natal road trip. I've left loads of links and resources in the description below, and without any further ado, let's jump right in.
We're going to start off this road trip in Durban, which is the biggest city in the province and also home to one of the busiest ports in Africa. There are loads of things to do around the city, from the famous Ushaka Marine World Aquarium to the Victoria Street Market. But for us, the main drawcard here is the beach. Durban is home to some fantastic beaches, especially if you're a surfer. But if you just want to pull up a towel and soak up the sun, then definitely check out some of the northern beaches around Umhlanga, Umhloti and Ballito. 2 to 3 days around Durban should be plenty of time to check things out before it's on to the next stop, St. Lucia. St. Lucia is a real gem. In fact, it's probably our favorite town in South Africa. We made a whole video just on things you can do in St. Lucia, so be sure to check that out in the description below. We recommend a minimum of 2 full days in St. Lucia to explore the town, the beaches, and the Isamangaliso wetland park nearby. But in all honesty, you could stay here for 2 years and not feel tired of the place. Next stop, Omphalos Game Reserve. Now that you've whet your appetite for some wildlife in St. Lucia, it's time to dive in even more at the oldest game reserve in Africa. Tlhotliwi is accessible to the public and is great for self-drive game viewing, with an excellent network of tarred and gravel roads that are suitable for all kinds of vehicles. As a minimum, you should spend at least 1 night in the game reserve or in the neighboring town of Tlhotliwi. Either way, make sure you're up early to get into the park when animal viewing is at its best. Next stop, Sodwana Bay. If you're a diver, then Sodwana Bay is an absolute must. The reefs of this stretch of coastline routinely feature in diving top 10 lists in publications from around the world, and it's a great place for beginners and experts alike. If you're not into diving, this is still an excellent option, as Sodwana Bay is one of the few places where you can access the northern KZN coast without a 4x4. We'd recommend spending at least 1 night in Sodwana, but extend that if you're keen to dive. Next stop, Kosi Bay. This next stop will take you right to the edge of the South Africa-Mozambique border. Kosi Bay is another one of those must-see gems in South Africa. Most famous for its interconnecting lake systems, Kosi Bay is also one of the last places to see a 700-year-old fishing technique that is still employed by locals today. There is mind-blowing snorkeling at the estuary and some of the most beautiful beaches in the world. Access to Kosi Bay can be a little bit tricky if you're not in a 4x4, but most accommodation providers should be able to help you out. We'd recommend spending at least 1 full day in Kosi Bay to check out the lakes and do some snorkeling. By this point, you may have had your fill of beach time and feel it's high time to get back into the bush, and you'll find you're in the best place to do just that. From Kosi Bay, there are a number of excellent game reserves you can explore, depending on how far you're willing to travel and what kind of vehicle you have. If you have a 4x4, you might want to consider checking out Tembe Elephant Reserve and try and spot one of their famous big tuskers. Ndumo Game Reserve is a fantastic place for birding and bushwalks, and Umkhuze is home to one of the oldest fig forests in the world. We'd recommend an absolute minimum of 1 night stay in either of these reserves, but don't be shy to extend that if you want some more time in the bush. Our next stop is in the battlefields, and a step back in time to a period of colonial wars that marred the landscape from the late 19th and early 20th centuries. One of the most famous sites from this period is iSaNtwana, where a detachment of the British Central Column invading Zululand suffered a punishing defeat at the hands of the Zulus. The nearby Rorke's Drift Museum is also the site of a grueling British defensive stand that lasted throughout the night. If you have any affinity for military history, or you want to feel a better connection to this area, then a tour through the battlefields is well worth it. You'll need at least 1 full day to experience both iSaNtwana and Rorke's Drift, so be sure to factor in some travel time around that. Our next stop heads into another one of KwaZulu Natal's big drawcards, the uKhahlamba Drakensberg. The uKhahlamba Drakensberg mountain range is the highest in South Africa and home to some incredible hiking trails. We'd recommend the Sentinel Peak hike to check out the second highest waterfall in the world, the Tugela Falls. Another great trip up the mountains is at the Sony Pass in the Southern Berg. This road can only be traveled in a 4x4, but there are loads of companies that offer tours up the pass. We'd recommend spending at least 2 full days in the mountains. Our final stop on this road trip itinerary is in the Midlands, which is a perfect rest stop on your way back to Durban. The Midlands is famous for its farm stalls, local produce, and quaint little country restaurants. We'd recommend a night stay in the Midlands to give yourself some time to explore, as well as some time to get back to Durban comfortably. Once back in Durban, you can choose to call it quits or extend your road trip by a few extra days to check out the South Coast. There are some world-class beaches with great surfing, snorkeling, and diving all over this region. We'd recommend staying in Skopje or Mzumbi, which are both quaint little coastal towns with excellent beaches to chill out and spend the last few days of your trip digging your toes into the sand.
So that's it for this guide. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Please leave us some comments and questions below. Let us know if you visited any of these places, which one's your favorite, which one would you have added to the list. And like I say, there are loads of links and resources down there as well. So hopefully this gets you packing, this gets you on the road, and until next time, bye-bye.